Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. In some breaking news, President Biden has just rejected the new Republican infrastructure offer, but infrastructure talks will continue, and President Biden is scheduled to meet with Shelley Moore Capito, the Republican senator from West Virginia. He's scheduled to meet with her again next week in an effort to continue infrastructure negotiations. So that is a silver lining, but Monday also marks a deadline by which the administration wanted to see progress in these discussions. It's very clear that the two sides are still very far apart on what they want in the legislation and how they would pay for it. And President Biden has floated the possibility of implementing a 15% minimum tax on profitable companies as the Republicans oppose his plan to hike the corporate tax rate. In short, President Biden has rejected a new Republican infrastructure counteroffer, but will continue talks with Republicans next week as the White House considers whether it should continue or abandon hopes for a bipartisan deal. During a conversation that just took place with Senator Shelley Moore Capito, the Republican from West Virginia, she proposed adding about $50 billion in the Republican framework. Now, the White House press secretary Jen Psaki said that the White House was considering this, and the Republicans last put forward a $928 billion plan. President Biden's counteroffer was $1.7 trillion. Here's an important quote from Jen Psaki. President Biden signaled that the current offer did not meet his objectives to grow the economy, tackle the climate crisis, and create new jobs. Although the latest proposal was rejected, President Biden will again meet with Senator Shelley Moore Capito, the Republican from West Virginia, again on Monday, and he plans to engage with senators from both parties about a more substantial package. Now, I want our viewers and subscribers to know that both sides, the Republicans and the Democrats, have been trying for weeks with the White House, have been trying for weeks to forge some sort of a compromise. They've been working on it, they've been trying to make progress, but they haven't been able to make a definitive arrangement so far. Monday marks the date by which Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg said the White House wanted to see a clear direction in the talks. Now, the president would have to decide whether to pursue a massive infrastructure package with only Democratic votes. Now, what complicates this situation is Senator Joe Manchin, the conservative Democrat from West Virginia. He did express some doubts about using the process of reconciliation to pass a bill because he's pushing for a bipartisan deal. And I believe this is forcing the president's hand because the president will need every Democratic vote in the Senate if the plan lacks support from the Republicans. This is why the president is trying to negotiate with the Republicans to score an economic victory as well as a political victory. President Biden told Capito he wants a bill to include at least $1 trillion in new money or increases to the spending under existing policy. The Republican plan would only allocate about $250 billion in new funds. Now, the president has also floated alternatives to his proposal to pay for a bill by hiking the corporate tax rate to at least 25%, and this is something Republicans oppose. President Biden did mention the possibility of implementing a 15% minimum corporate tax rate as some profitable companies manage to pay little to no taxes. So it's unclear whether the Republicans will actually support something like this, but this again highlights the fundamental political and the ideological differences between both parties. The White House sees infrastructure as human infrastructure in addition to physical infrastructure, and the Republicans only see infrastructure as physical infrastructure. Also, Republicans have a fundamentally different worldview on how the federal government should play a role in a changing post-pandemic economy. The White House wants a plan that not only includes upgrades to transportation, broadband, and water systems, but also investments in clean energy, care for dependent family members, housing, and schools. The Republicans, on the other hand, want a much more narrower focus on areas including roads, bridges, airports, broadband, and water systems. Now, President Biden could also face backlash from Democrats if he tries to strike a deal with the Republicans. Some progressive lawmakers, including Congressman Jamal Bowman, the Democrat from New York, have grown very wary of the president's efforts to engage with the Republicans and his attempt to cut down his original $2.3 trillion proposal in an attempt to win Republican votes. This is what Congressman Bowman said in a quote. "If what we've read is true, I would have a very difficult time voting yes on this bill. $2 trillion was already the compromise. President Biden can't expect us to vote for an infrastructure deal dictated by the Republican Party. Jen Psaki, on the other hand, the White House press secretary, said, I quote, there's runaway left. We're going to keep a range of pathways open. Jen Psaki also said that the president would be speaking with New York Congressman Peter DeFazio, who's the chair of the House Transportation Committee, whose panel has jurisdiction over a major highway reauthorization bill that Democrats could use to advance several of President Biden's infrastructure proposals. In other words, there could be an indirect way for President Biden to get what he wants without the Republicans, and maybe, just maybe, get the Republicans to support other things which could lead to a political and an economic victory for the White House. In a very, very interesting statement, Jen Psaki said this. There are some realities of timelines on the talks, including the fact that Congressman DeFazio is leading the markup of key components of the American Jobs Plan next week. Again, it looks like the White House is preparing a plan B to get what they want indirectly without the direct support of the Republicans. And in the meantime, the Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, the Democrat from New York, has told the Democrats he wants to pass an infrastructure bill by July. So it's very clear that the stakes are rising as time is passing by. It's clear that President Biden is willing to compromise, but also in many ways holding firm and trying to put some pressure on the Republicans to come up with a proposal that could be easy to digest for the rest of the Democrats. We are sure to find out what's going to happen in the next few days, and you can be sure that I'll report the news back to you. If you want to appreciate our efforts, please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. That would mean a lot to me personally. I want you to know that we work very hard on this channel to bring you the latest news. And if you want to appreciate our efforts, please click the like button. Please subscribe and please enable notifications. Thank you so much for watching. We are looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Let us know what you think of President Biden's rejection of the Republican counteroffer. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think President Biden should work closely with the Republicans? Should he hold firm and try to get individuals like the conservative Democrat from West Virginia, Joe Manchin, individuals like the Democrat from Arizona, Kristen Sinema, on board in order to pass another reconciliation bill, just like the Democrats did with the American Rescue Plan? Please let me know in the comment section below. You'll get the links to all of our resources in the description section below. Thank you so much for watching. We are looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.